Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. So, I always find it to be really fascinating to see where the creative process takes us, and not just in paper crafting, but in any medium at all. I love to sculpt. I'm a jewelry maker. I know people that paint. I love to paint, and a lot of times you might have an idea in your head, and very often it will shift as you go and morph into something else. Or you'll complete something, and then that project, whatever it is, will inspire the next one. And that's kind of what's happening here. So you may have watched my video that I put up for Imagine about a week ago, and it was a coffee themed card. And I had made a background using the base of one of my favorite mugs and Java walnut ink. And then I had a lot of leftover ink on my glass mat here, and I decided to make a background or two with it just so that I could pick it up and not waste it. Through that, I made this card, and you can see that deep Java brown color ink in the background here. I posted this card on my blog earlier this week, I believe, and this was just done with that extra pickup ink that I had on this craft cardstock, and then I swiped over the embossed design. I used this Lush Leaves Embossing Folder from Spellbinders. It's gorgeous, as you can see, with some distress oxide, and added a die cut on top for my sentiment, and that was pretty much it. And that inspired today's card. So we've got three things here working together to kind of create new project, and it's just fun. Like, I never thought that using the Java ink on a background that was just pick up mess stuff would then make this card, which would then inspire the next one. So long-winded explanation as to what we're doing today, but that's how we got here. You guys love alcohol ink videos. That seems to be like my most popular video for the most part, like that style. So I decided let's go with some alcohol inks, and I really wanted to use this Lush Leaves with alcohol inks and kind of get a similar effect to this, but with different mediums. So that's what we're doing. So I've got three colors of alcohol ink. I have Pesto, Mushroom, and Moss. I've got my blending solution. I, of course, have the Lush Leaves embossing folder from Spellbinders, and then I have my Jot poster board paper. This is what I use for my alcohol inks 9 times out of 10. I get this from Dollar Tree. Really inexpensive. You get a few sheets in one. The packaging might look a little bit different now, and you get several sheets, like I said, in one package. And they're big sheets. They're like 11 by 14, so you get a lot of panels out of it. So I cut 2 of them down to 4 by 5 1/4. That's the size that I like to work on because my cards wind up being standard A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I just cut out 2 because, I don't know, the first background might not be great, or maybe the second one. We have options. So what I'm going to do... Oh, I forgot my blower tool. Hold on. I need the blower tool. This is different from the one that's currently on the market. The air blower is a much bigger barrel, and it doesn't have this extra piece here. This is really meant for putting markers in and turning them into like an airbrush, but we're not using it like that. So you can use whatever you've got. Just don't use a straw. It's not good to be breathing in the stuff that's in the alcohol inks. Okay, so just keep your face away. Work in a well ventilated area. My window's open. A lot of times I'll have a fan on, so just be careful. If you've got breathing problems like asthma, be extra careful. I have asthma, but I work with these. It's okay. Just take some precaution. We're working with some chemicals here, so not to say that it's super dangerous. Just, be careful. All right, so this is what we're doing. I'm going to take my blending solution, put it in this orientation for now. I apologize for the glare of my light. You want to take off the mat that comes with this glass mat because you don't want to get alcohol ink on it. It will stain. So that's why this is here, and I don't want to remove the light completely. So apologies for the glare. So we're going to start with putting some blending solution across the whole thing. I'm not going to make this super wispy like I sometimes do. I'm going to fill the panel a bit more. We're just going to kind of play. I'm just dropping some color in. This is the mushroom. This color is fantastic. I did not think I needed mushroom at first. And then I saw it getting used, and it's like, oh, that color is amazing. it breaks down into such interesting colors once you play with it for a while. You might not see it happen here because we've got other colors in play, but it's beautiful. Look at how nice that looks. So the trick is really to just go back and forth and not squeeze super hard. You don't want to give yourself a hand cramp, and also you don't want to push the colors so forcefully that they get kind of like little fingery things happening. Check out that blue. That's from the mushroom. Isn't that cool? Sometimes it's okay. Like here was a little rough, but you want to just kind of be gentle about it. A little bit more here. I tend to overdo the blending solution. You could also use isopropyl alcohol. Keep in mind that when you do use isopropyl alcohol, that it is breaking the color down as opposed to just blending it. So that's just something to keep in mind. You will wind up fading your colors a bit more. Look at that. Very little effort here, but it looks really pretty. And I love those bits of blue happening. I think we're going to leave this one like this. I'm happy with that. Let's make another one real quick, just so that we have two to choose from. Again, we're going to cover this with some blending solution. Drop some color in. Really like that color. That's the moss. This is Pesto, and you might have noticed my label is different. That's because it is a crazy old version, but I believe Pesto's still available. Okay, again, we're going to work from here to the side and then back the other way. Just gently pushing that color back and forth to get the effect we want. What's nice about working on the poster board paper is that while you have movement, you don't have as much movement as you do with other papers. Sometimes, I like letting things happen organically and not having a ton of control of things, but other times, well, I shouldn't say other times. I don't want to have loss of complete control, okay? I want to be able to control things a little bit because it is my art, right? I don't want it to be the paper's art. So I find that other papers, the alcohol inks just keep moving and moving and moving, and something that you love is suddenly gone because it's kept moving. Now you can stop this process with like a hairdryer or something, or a heat tool, but I find that this works out better for me because I have more control. It moves a bit, but not so much that I can't stop the process easily. So, but if you like working with other types of papers, that's okay too. I don't ever want to tell you not to use something. How's that? I think that's cool. Do we like this area up here? I do. I think I do. Okay, so I'm going to cap this. This is bothering me a little bit, but you know what? I think it'll be fine once we have the leaves on there. Yeah, I'm going to cap these off, move them to the side. We'll compare the two backgrounds and see what we've got. Here are our two backgrounds. This is the first one, this is the second one, and I'm really loving this. I really think that this is the way to go. Might be a little damp still, but that's okay. We're gonna move on anyway. Here's the other one. One is definitely still wet, but we're gonna use this one that we did first. So now we just need to put this into our folder and run it through. Do I want it this way? Does it matter? It doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. It's going to be beautiful no matter what because this folder is so stunning. I want to make sure that I get these little guys here. Like that. That looks good. Okay, I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. All right, let's take a peek. I have not looked at it yet. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Now there is alcohol ink in here, and you can just use some isopropyl alcohol. That will clean it right up. No problem. But look at this. How cool is that? Now, as beautiful as this is, we want to make sure that those leaves are really showing, right? So what I have here is some StazOn in Spiced Chai. I love this color. If you've got archival ink, you can use that too, but this is a glossy paper, okay? So you can't just use like a regular dye ink. It's going to wind up rubbing off. You can, if you want to, use like a pigment ink and then embossing powder on top of that, but then we run the risk of like losing some of these details, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just take this little pad and I'm just going to carefully rub this over the top, just really carefully. If you've got a green, you can use a green. I happen to have a green, but it's not quite the right shade. Maybe we'll use it in some spots. Let's see. I don't know. We've got this cactus green here. Let's take a look. I've got just a piece of scrap paper. Yeah, see, it's a little too bright. A little too bright for this, so I don't really want to go with that. So we're going to just stick with the spice chalk. Just carefully rubbing. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to get every little vein to show and all that, because we don't want to totally hide our background, because it really did come out very pretty. But showing off those leaves is what we want. And you can go dark if you want to. You can go heavy with the color, but I kind of want to keep it light and soft, if that's possible with a brown. Look at that. That's super cool. I'm digging it. You could even, I'm not going to do this, but you could, at this point, now that it's embossed, you can go back in with some of your alcohol inks and kind of run those through and have the veins really stand out as far as color goes, not dimensionally, but for color. But we're not going to do that. So it is an option, though. I think that looks really good. Just kind of highlighting. What's nice about this pad is that it's so little, it's easy to hold. I think that looks cool. Yeah, okay. We're going to finish this off pretty quickly, guys. Okay, let's get a card base. Got one here, all ready to go. Definitely don't want to keep it white, but we need some type of green that's going to be nice and muted like the rest of these tones that are here. So these are my Distress Ink and Oxide swatches. Kind of liking this. What do we got here? This is Shabby Shutters. Shabby Shutters is perhaps the winner. I think that's going to work. Could work with this too. We could even go into, let's see. You could do antique linen, old paper would work, but I like this Shabby Shutters, and I don't use that color very much. So let me grab that, and then we'll make our sentiment as well. We've got Shabby Shutters here, and I'm just going to quickly ink the edges. Whoops. I'm trying to go fast, and I'm being clumsy. And then we're going to do the same sentiment that I did on the other one. I thought it would be good to do kind of an apples to apples comparison with the two different cards. So I've got that same Wander die. It's from the new, it's called Storybook collection from Spellbinders. It's intended for scrapbooking, but it works beautifully for cards too. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Okay, so I have the main part of the word with a dark brown cardstock, and then I've got this olive green for the shadow layer. So I'm going to cut these both down and run them through my die cut machine, and then we'll attach everything together. We've got a couple of things going on here. First of all, I used Tear It tape from Imagine, that's this roll here, for the background. I don't know, sometimes I just feel like it's better to use a dry adhesive, like double-sided tape or foam tape, when you have something that's super textural like this. If you want to use wet, you can. I don't know, sometimes I just feel like it's a little bit, it holds better with dry. I guess it depends on the folder, but I'm going to just stick that down like so. And you can see there's no transfer of color at this point. Everything is nice and dry. And I've got my Wander, but in the original card, I kind of inked it a bit. Hey, look, I reversed it. Look at that. That's okay. I like it. I liked this distressing that I got from not only the texture of the paper, but from the Oxide that I used. So I grabbed old paper because I don't have Shabby Shutters in an Oxide. So I thought this one would be okay. You could use crushed olive, peeled paint, whatever. But I'm just, again, super carefully just kind of kissing the edge against this paper. I'm getting some lines, but it's not bothering me. Okay. It just kind of, I don't know, makes it a little bit more interesting. Check that out. It softens the brown a little bit. I don't mind that, but I think it looks good like that. Okay. You can, again, like I said, use foam tape if you want to, but I think that we're going to just use this tear tape because it's nice and simple. I just use my thumb to rip it. You can, of course, use a scissor if you want. It's a 1/4 inch, works really well. You can even use this with heat embossing, with embossing powder, I should say. So if you want to create a plaid or something, which I've actually done with this tape, just using the adhesive and embossing powder, I've made a plaid that was super textural and shiny. Came out pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to stick this on here. Like so. That looks pretty good. Ta-da! We have 2 Wander cards. Same embossing folder, done very differently. And I think they're both really cool. Which do you like better? I'm curious. I think they're both really neat. I can't quite pick a favorite yet. I need to like sleep on it for a day or two. But I'm really happy with this. So another way to use embossing folders, use them with your alcohol inks and get some really cool looking backgrounds. That's the first one I did. So let me know in the comments which you like better. And also, do you want to see more alcohol ink videos? Like I said in the beginning, it seems like those are really popular. So if that's the case, then I guess I better crank out some more. Let me know. I'll see you guys all very soon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.